Hey, it's Allie, and I'm talking about our final research paper, and I'm going to be looking at part four, the final paper itself. And so this is the conclusion of all four parts that we've been working on since the early part of the semester, and this is due at the end of week 14. I will accept this assignment through the end of the semester, so there is an additional week where I will accept late work. There'll be a point deducted per day for late work, but I found that having this major assignment due a week earlier than the very end of the semester actually allows people to get it in who may have not had the ability if they missed the actual deadline. Once the semester is over, I do accept work in this class till the very last second of the semester, but once the semester is over, I'm unable to accept work. So keep that in mind. And again, that's one of the reasons that this is due at the end of week 14. So, as you're working on this, the most important thing to do is to be consulting the final paper assignment sheet, particularly here for the final itself. I'm basically giving you the rubric for the 70 points, the breakdown on how I'm grading. So, MLA style and formatting does matter. You will lose quite a few points if you do not have proper MLA style. That's why we spent part two with the sources, really learning about MLA style and how to do that. And that'll come really become necessary both in the citations within the body of the paper itself, and then for the works cited. So that is a common mistake that students sometimes make, is forgetting the works cited page, and that'll go at the end of the research paper itself, and it doesn't count as one of the pages, so make sure you have 7 pages of written work and then your works cited. And a works cited page is different than the bibliography. You don't need a bibliography here in this class, but don't label that as a bibliography. A bibliography would refer to all the other books that you didn't actually quote or paraphrase and then have to give a parenthetical citation in the body of the paper, and you just had used them as studying. So you can do that if you'd like, and all it does is show the reader of your paper, the teacher, the instructor like me, the breadth and depth of your research, but it's different than the works cited, and the works cited page is only those sources that you've actually used within the body of the paper. And again, remember that we found 4 academic sources for part 2, and you must use 3 of these academic sources in the body of the paper itself. In addition to those 3 academic sources, you can use other sources. So if you found a great article somewhere else, don't hesitate to use it. Don't hesitate to use a newspaper article or something from the popular press if it backs up your point or you just like how it works in your paper. But make sure to have those 3 academic sources to fulfill that requirement. And again, make sure to consult the Purdue OWL as you're creating this document to make it in MLA style, both for your citations and the works cited, and then just for everything else. This is a 7 to 10 page paper. It's 12-point font, double spaced, and there's requirements for that within the formatting of MLA style as well. So the main thing that the other thing besides the works cited that students sometimes forget that I just want to cover real fast here is outside of having these sources used to make this a scholarly paper and to back up your points, make sure to make connections to class materials. That's a major requirement. It's in the assignment sheet, but just sometimes students kind of forget it or overlook it. And I'm looking for you to connect the material that we studied throughout the course of the semester to your research paper. If this is difficult, say it. Say it in your introduction. Say, wow, I really had a struggle connecting to class materials, and then go out of your way to try to do it in some way so that I can see you attempting to cover your bases for this portion of the assignment requirements. And if I was writing this paper, I would do this both in the introduction and the conclusion. And then somewhere else in the paper itself, I would try to make a connection when it seemed kind of obvious. And some shows, some topics are going to connect to class inherently, where other ones won't. And I will have already stated that at some point as we were working on the proposal, the sources, or the draft. So you should be aware of that, and we should have found a couple of ways to connect it to class. But don't forget that this isn't just a like generic television research paper that could work anywhere. We're looking to connect it to the things that we've been talking about as a class this semester, as well as making it a scholarly report. And hopefully you found this kind of interesting. I'll admit that when I first started out in college, when I was a freshman, I found writing research papers kind of intimidating. It was really a lot of work that I wasn't used to. I was at school for making art, and now I actually really enjoy writing papers. I like to present papers that I've written at conferences and even sometimes get them published. And that's something I'm proud of at the level that I am with my own artwork. And I never would have really expected that when I was like a freshman in college. And so hopefully you found this overall this semester working on this to not be so horrible if it was something that you were a little bit worried at to begin with. And hopefully having it broken up into these 4 parts was helpful to people that this was new to. And anyone that was experienced with this kind of paper writing already, I'm glad that you already had that. And I'm really looking forward to reading everybody's papers and seeing what you all have to say here about television history. Thanks so much.